Well, speaking of classic, let's hop into our first game of the day, our first match of the day, and we are already blessed with an incredible PvP to get started. Spawning in the lower left-hand corner of Alcyone, we have the Twisted Minds Protoss in blue, classic. And his opponent in the upper right-hand corner, the one, the only, money symbols, oh, money symbols, SOS. SOS, we haven't seen a ton of him lately. I'm excited that he's playing a bit more. And that he's just kind of, I don't know, generally been showing up a little more. We've had him in a couple of KSLs now. And I'm just hoping to see more and more of him. I don't know if he's been playing in the EPT Open Cups, but I certainly hope so, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was. SOS is one of my favorite Protoss of all times. There's a spectrum of Protoss, in my view. On the far, let's say the far left side of Protoss, you have players who they play all the craziest builds. They will cheese all the cheeses. They will proxy all the proxies, cannon all the cannons. And then on the far right, maybe you have the more conservative, macro, standard Protosses who will do the same solid standard build, solid standard opening. They want to play the macro game, and they will get there, and they're very good at it. Once they're macro and they're killing it. SOS is the first one. In fact, he is the defining left side in this situation here. He's the furthest left of any Protoss that has played at a high level. He's cannon rushed, he's proxied everything, he's done it all. He's done it all. Maybe like Haas could be considered further left than him, but I'm not even sure about that because I've seen SOS proxy and Nexus in the main base of Bunny, which is just one of the best things in the entire world. That was during a GSL. Speaking of amazing Protosses, Peely Peely, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in. We're just enjoying some Protoss versus Protoss here. Now, Classic is a much more standard Protoss, but standard right now in Korean PvP meta is actually 3-gate Robo, so this is what I would call a variation on the standard. This is the proxy Robo, and I love that he mined these minerals out so we can get through here. SOS has not scouted it. It looks like he scouted a big portion of the top of this map, but he has not scouted down on the bottom of the map. He hasn't seen that the minerals are missing. And as such, he does not know what's coming at all. And he's just on 2 gates right now. He drops down a Robo as he's going back in, and he's going to scout that there is no Nexus still. And he's just going to try to get in the main and see what's in here. There's not much to see, but that kind of tells you all you need to know. The fact that it's a proxy Robo, and he's going to spot this Immortal out front. There is one shield battery here. He drops a second shield battery. I like the sentry from SOS as well. Ooh, but as the Adepts jump on top of this, that is a dead sentry. 4 Adepts, one shot the sentry. The super shield battery turns on. That's going to hold on right now for SOS, but he can only do that once on a great hot pickup as well. Stalkers get pushed backwards. The Robo is not quite done here for SOS. No Immortal is on the way yet. This Robo is feeling very late right now. SOS went for an extremely greedy Nexus. Oh no, and he walled himself out with the pylon, and now Classic is going to ferry himself up into the main base. All Classic has to do is actually just focus down this pylon, but right now he's got a micro against the probes. Try to lift up these units as quick as he can. SOS is diving for the Prism. I think he's going to get the Prism, but at the expense of just about everything else. That being said, Classic actually can't leave now. So the fact that SOS dove for that Prism, 4 probes went down, but those probes killed an Immortal in the meantime, and SOS holds with the full probe surround. Classic miss-microing a little bit there, thinking SOS was going to stop diving for the Prism and maybe start targeting down the units. But SOS is a singular focused man. he does not lose his focus. And once he was ready to gun down that Prism, he went for it. And now he is chasing an Immortal with 2 Stalkers and an Immortal. Oh, but 2 Stalkers show up for Classic, and the Prism pops out. And now Classic's got a lot of micro potential, and it looks like he should be able to take this out and keep everything alive. Classic with some fancy micro there to make up for what might have been a bit of a mistake earlier. Not picking up that Immortal and dropping it even just one time, and he would have gotten a lot more damage done. Classic's going to move across the map once again. A new Immortal is about to pop for SOS, though, so he's going to have a lot more of ability to deflect this. It's a very low Immortal in this Prism, too, remember. So Classic has to be very careful here. This Immortal can only take a couple of Immortal shots. And while you can dodge Stalker shots with the Prism, you cannot dodge Immortal shots. Immortal shots do not travel in the air. They are instantaneous. You just have to pick it up before the Immortal shoots, or you're going to take that damage. Now, Classic does not have a base. Classic needs to go get damage done. He's killing some probes. He needs to do more than that, though. But the Adepts are doing a great job of just distracting and keeping SOS busy right now. Obviously, keeping that economy pretty similar. But SOS, I mean, is going to just be in a better position. Even on the same amount of probes, this is great for SOS. Because if he starts mining out up here, which they're both going to be doing soon, he can just bring probes down here and be mining better than his opponent. Classic's going to hit on the low ground. He's got a Disruptor. It's a nice Nova, but it only connects with one of the Immortals. Good split there from SOS. And he's going to start pushing this back. Shield Battery keeping these guys juiced up. Adepts threatening to shade up with the high ground. SOS has a 3rd Immortal up here. I'm surprised he has so many units up top. I think he's expecting Classic to maybe lift and go up into the main base again. But SOS going to pull down to the low ground again now. Does eat another shot with an Immortal. Looks like this Immortal's going to go down. Super Shield Battery is turned on. Whoop. Can't stop the Disrupt Nova from killing the Stalkers, though. That Prism has to be super careful. We've already seen a Prism get targeted down. It looks like Classic has lost 1 Immortal. He's going to go for a Warp in. Most of the Stalkers are dead for SOS. Not a lot of threat here to the Prism right now. The Adepts doing a great job out front, just tanking. There's another dead Stalker. SOS out of Shield Battery juice. And as the last couple of Disruptor Novas come in here, the Prism pops out, but there's nothing to pick up anymore. And Classic with the Disruptors is going to take game number 1. A wild game number 1, though, to start out with. What a game. SOS doing a great job in the initial defense. Like, that was really impressive. Sorry, reading things I can't read and speak at the same time. But, yeah, really impressive opening from SOS there. Killing the Prism and getting the full surround with the probes. I mean, he was in a great spot. What put him back was losing that Immortal and Stalkers out on the map when he tried to go for some counter pressure. And it gave Classic the opportunity to push back in and give him a little bit of time to tech into Disruptors, right? It takes kind of a while to get there. And if he had been trying to do that off the back of just being down an Immortal, would have been very, very tough. It's so hard to know exactly what to do, because if Classic... Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really like SOS's move out there, now that I think about it a little bit more. He didn't have a Prism to save those units, and he was just pushing out onto the map into the unknown. And that's always scary. Like, he's up the Nexus. He doesn't have to do that. I think SOS got a little too overeager there and tried to go close the game out, right? He was like, okay, now I'm going to go crush this game. And I don't know, I think he ended up giving Classic the win with that. I really think if SOS just stayed home, Classic would have had a much harder time busting in, even with the Disruptor transition. But all right, we're getting into game 2 now. We're going to Oceanborn. PvP is so much fun. PvP is so much fun, and I did kind of mention that Classic's a more standard Protoss than SOS, but he is not the most standard. He certainly knows how to play a wild game. Not quite like this guy. And let's see what he brings us in game number 2 here. Spawning in the lower right-hand corner of Oceanborn, it is SOS. And while last game might have looked standard, if you weren't like super paying attention, it looked kind of standard. It was actually extremely greedy from SOS. And the fact, that's why it's so impressive he held off that first attack. Super, super greed from SOS. He went one gate on the high ground with the Cyber Core straight into a Nexus. Meanwhile, his opponent in the upper left-hand corner went for the more aggressive one-base Protoss play. It is Twisted Minds Classic. And yeah, Classic went for a much more, I don't know, standard Protoss opening, I guess, with the 2 gates up on the high ground. Saw what SOS was doing, went for the proxy robo. Ended up working out for him, but PvP can get very, very wild, and there is a bit of a coin flippiness to it. Depending on what build orders you choose. This time, SOS isn't going to go for the quick Nexus. So we might see SOS get aggressive here. And, I mean, the thing about a lot of this, too, it puts a lot of the pressure onto the micro of the units, right? You got to pick up those mortals, you got to split and spread, and make sure to focus fire certain units. We did see SOS miss some focus firing in that last game, where he had Immortals just shooting against Adepts for a long time, where they really need to be hitting Immortals and Stalkers. The Adepts honestly, like, don't matter unless they're shading through to the probes. They're just kind of there. But they did a perfect job for Classic. They soaked up so many Immortal shots. And that's kind of on SOS, right? He's got to micro that. There's a million other things to micro too, but that's the position you put yourself in when you're going to be heavily aggressive or heavily greedy in this matchup, is you end up having to micro very severely. We've seen like Max Pax expand very greedily, and then he's got to micro his absolute heart out to try to defend it. He's very, very good at it, so he usually succeeds. But you do put yourself in a very tough position, and honestly, Classic's micro is some of the best in the world. So that's very tough for SOS, I think, which is why I'm sure Classic did want to get a bit aggressive in that game. Was happy to be put in that position where he had to micro well. But even then, he messed up some micro, and SOS was almost able to hold because of it. However, this game, we're expanding. Look at us go. Look at us. The Classic's got 3 sentries over here. SOS is about to have 3 sentries as well. And so this is turning into a very even game, and a pretty standard one too. Doesn't look like SOS has vision of the expansion. He has seen the pylon, but that honestly means nothing these days. Whereas Classic has the confirmation scout at the Nexus. We don't have any follow-up tech for SOS just yet. His gateways are finishing up. But the Robo is already about to finish up for Classic. Yeah, it's straight to Twilight Council for SOS. That makes a little more sense if you're going to wait this long. Oh, the Adepts try to come in here. Some force fields going down. It's a lot of Sentry energy. It looks like I think 1 probe will still go down. Oh, actually, great probe micro from SOS. Oh, fantastic job. Saves his probe by body blocking with the 2 gas probes. That costs a lot of energy, but I don't know. That energy comes back. There's no imminent threat. Of course, as I say, there's no imminent threat. Classic has a Warp Prism on the way, so maybe there is an imminent threat here for SOS that he has to worry about. I think Classic is more likely just going to harass with this, and yeah, there's the Adepts. He's just going to try to get some Adepts in. Or not. He's going to hit with Stalkers and a Sentry? I'm kind of confused now. I guess the Adepts hit on the low ground while the Prism dives into the main. That's the play here. SOS is posturing like he wants to take a third base. That is going to make it a little harder to defend this kind of stuff. It means you're more spread out. I don't think a hallucination or anything has seen this. But SOS is very in the dark about this. He has nothing prepared for this Prism. Oh, and he is moving out at probably the worst possible time. Classic has an Immortal on the way, but he actually doesn't have anything back at home to defend just a full frontal assault. This game could get very weird. SOS could recall, but it's SOS. I'm going to go ahead and say that's not going to be his play, and he is just going to jump on this. Classic is so unprepared. He had a Sentry here, doesn't force field the ramp at all. The Immortal walks down the ramp and turns around immediately. And it looks like SOS is just going to go for the kill here. He's got infinite force field energy. He could just try to kill this Nexus. In the meantime, probes are being pulled to fight. SOS is down a lot of workers. If he kills a Nexus, though, it could make it absolutely worth it. I love the probes just chasing this around, trying to get the kills. All these units are very low for Classic. Classic loses his Nexus. Both players losing a lot of workers. If SOS goes over here, he could force a cancel on this base, too. I think this is great for SOS. Look at the worker count. It's dead even. The army supply is in favor of SOS. This little drop is about to be expired here. The Prism is taking some damage. Classic's going to have to cancel this base. Classic is on one base right now. All SOS needs to do is go home and defend. He's got Blink. Whoa, oh my god, and Classic makes the classic blunder. And he's just going to tap out right away. Moving down the ramp, thought SOS was going to do what I said and just go home. But it's SOS, so he doesn't make that call. He makes the more exciting call, which is staying there. Force fields that Immortal out. I mean, that worked out beautifully for SOS at the end of that game. What a weird, weird game. SOS moving out at probably the most unexpected time. The least expected time to move out. Even having all the information on the map, I was like, I don't know if that's good. Why is he moving out here? But it worked out perfectly. Classic was not ready for a fight in the least. His Immortal wasn't even out yet. I mean, absolute banger. Now we're going to the best map. The best map in the pool. Radisset Station. Incredible. Incredible. I can't believe I set up this whole cat cam. And he's just not going to go over there today. Wild. Literally hiding under the bed instead. Maybe he's just camera shy. Never PvP, kids. No. It's a scary thing. PvP is a scary thing. No, I love Radisset Station because I think it's the most, it's like the least standard map in the pool. And it's also the one we see the least because it plays kind of weirdly. Now, this is PvP. Honestly, it might end up not affecting the game too much, but let's just hop in and we'll find out. Because it's game number 3 time. We're on match point. Spawning in the lower left-hand corner of Radicet Station, it is SOS. And his opponent, in the upper right-hand corner for Twisted Minds, it's Classic. I don't think I've seen a PvP on this map. I've seen a few different matches, but I don't know that a PvP is one of them. Maybe. Well, this should be very entertaining. It looks like both players are going to go for the low ground gate. Kind of interested in what the strats are going to be here. This is one of those maps where I feel like a player like SOS, if SOS was in a GSL on this map in like a round of 8, or no, like a round of 4, like a best of 5. SOS has a best of 5 and he knows this map's going to be one of them. I feel like he has a build for this map that nobody's ever seen before. That's the kind of thing SOS would do for sure. He is using a build we have seen before, which is a Nexus first. Now, Classic was planning on gate Nexusing, it looked like. Or at least that's what he ended up going for once he scouted that Nexus first. So it's not too bad for Classic, but it ends up being great for SOS. Because Classic got put in a kind of a tough spot where he's like, all right, well, I was planning on putting this Nexus down. I have to just do it now. Can't go punish across the map. Build order's a little too off for that. He could have gone for a hot switch and try to rush across with a 3-gate robo or something, but as it is, just goes well for SOS. But I feel like there's so many possibilities on this map with, like, I want to see what Florencio comes up with. You have this whole area back here at your opponent's base. These rocks, this looks like an indestructible group of rocks, but it's actually quite easy to kill this. And then you just need to mine through 2 little mineral fields and you're right in. I don't know. I feel like there's going to be some very cheeky strategies on this map. So far, I haven't seen anything too crazy. The most fun games on this map have been the macro games because of the way you have to expand, and expanding gets a little weird. Things like the gold bases can be tough. Again, breaking down these rocks and attacking in the back of your opponent's base can make the middle of the map really, really interesting. And can make some of the pathing a little bit complicated. Like figuring out where you need to position your army is not simple by any means. So we've had some fun games on this map. That is Stargate versus Stargate, but SOS is very late on his Stargate. He went for a second gateway to full wall first. This is a full base back here, so you can just take 3 bases with a full wall like this. Honestly, SOS, I could almost see him taking this base, mining this out and killing the rocks to try to expand over here, which I have not seen yet on this map, but seems like a perfectly reasonable and viable strategy. If we get there, we'll see. Classic's coming across with the Oracle now, and then he's going to go Twilight behind that. I would imagine SOS is also going to go Twilight behind his Stargate. He's going to pump out a Phoenix, but it's going to be a little late to deal with this first Oracle. Stasis Ford is going to at least, actually catches 4 probes as SOS didn't quite get the radius calculation on that correct. Just barely had these 3 in range. The Phoenix is out now, needs to be very careful. Oh, he didn't see it. He didn't see the Oracle. Oh, this could be super duper bad for SOS. Where is he going? Where is the Phoenix going, dude? It needs to be back home. Oh, these Oracles just come in and get a whole bunch of free damage. 5, 6 probes, just like that. And even if they die afterwards, and it looks like 1 will go down before that recall goes through. That's well worth it for Classic. Now, SOS did have a bit of an advantage early on, but I don't know, as we look at this, it's not that big of an advantage, and Classic's for sure taking that back and more. Now, the Phoenix is out of SOS here. they're going to be able to potentially get some damage done. Blink is not going to be done for a little while, and if there's 3 Phoenix, that's enough to lift and kill some probes. Even 2 Phoenixes could go for that. Look at him go. Okay, SOS. You know, I wasn't expecting 3 proxy gateways, but I kind of love it, you know, because there's an Oracle over here keeping an eye on what's going on and could come back in at any point and scout a big thing of gateways. Right now, what SOS has looks pretty standard. What, those are destructible rocks? Oh, I don't even think I realized that. That's so funny. Oh, I kind of love that for Protoss then. This is so good for SOS. What? That's crazy. Anyways, yeah, he's got 3 proxy gateways. Blink is finishing up. However, Classic's going to catch him in the middle of the map. Whoa. Oh, this got really weird. Classic. Oh, SOS trying to take the gold base off the back of this, but that is going to be forced to cancel. Classic's going to think this is really, really good for him, but he has no idea he's about to be attacked. There goes the cancel, and now the Stalkers are hitting on the other side. That's going to be 2 dead Stalkers before any recall can happen. Oh, the recall already went down on the Oracle, so Classic just blinks in. He's going to go for probes. SOS is not going for workers, though. SOS is going for the win. Is this good for SOS again? He's got so much more army on this side of the map than Classic has on the other side. SOS is going to blink forward, lifting one of the Stalkers, killing that shield battery, and he is just going to be taking this stuff down. The Immortal is on the way out. I don't know if that's going to be enough. The Oracle is going to come in, try to get some worker damage as well. Classic has blunked out, and he is going to leave as SOS warped in some Stalkers back at home. The Immortal is not going to get out. There's the recall Classic has been waiting for. SOS getting in position to fight right now. He needs to target down these Stalkers. Great blink away, dodging a bunch of Stalker shots there. Classic showcasing some excellent micro to defend his base. Now, both players lost a bunch of workers. But Classic is in a better position worker-wise. He needs to get these pylons back up, though, and get this Immortal out. Looks like he's going to lose his front gateway here. Oh, my God, the blink forward. The Immortal's about to pop, though. This is a terrible situation now for SOS. Oh, he's just going to lift the Immortal. I forgot about the Phoenixes. He blinks on top of it. He gets it. Classic again, blinking away, dodging Stalker shots. So many of the Stalkers are trapped. SOS, oh, he's got to be so careful. Warping in more Stalkers offensively. He's bringing the 3 Stalkers he warped in back at home. Classic is going to chase, but he's going to run into those 3 Stalkers, and the Phoenix is going to lift one of his. This is so good for SOS, but the micro is so weird. There's a few Zealots on the ground. The Cyber Core died. Completely forgot about that. So Classic had to replace that. That's why he has like 3 Zealots here, and the probes all running around. Another Immortal pops for Classic, though, and that is going to help him hold. It is still 2 base to 2. 10 more probes died. But Classic is still up a few workers. It looks like he's been producing non-stop. And he has a 3rd Nexus over here just mining happily. So while he's had all these probes pulled this whole time, his income has still honestly been better in a lot of these cases, or at least even. SOS is going to go attempt to take the gold once again. If he had been allowed to take this gold earlier, this game might be very different. Oh, he's going to start doing it, though. He's going to start knocking down these rocks. I don't think Classic has realized it, but he might be thinking about it. He's got these Immortals over here. I think the rocks break in 2 segments. I actually don't know. I guess we'll see. Nope, they're all going to break, aren't they? Yep, they all go down. SOS is going to be able to blink right in. Classic is nearby, though. I don't know if he's thought about this, but just the way he's positioning his army is really smart here. And SOS is only going to be able to get a couple of kills, and it looks like he's going to lose some Stalkers on the way out. He should be able to get out of here with those ones. But nice defense from Classic. SOS, though, he's just going for charge. His gold base is almost done. He's transferring probes there now so that he can have a bunch of gold mining. Well, he needs to keep his probes here. That's a long way to long distance mine. And it looks like, oh, is he going to try to mine through? I mean, these Zealots can't blink over. I don't know if SOS knows that Zealots can't blink over. SOS built an Oracle out of his Stargate that, remember, he's had the whole game. But you rarely see an Oracle built at this time. So Classic not expecting it. Loses a few workers. Obviously not the biggest deal in the world. Considering Classic just got his 3rd Nexus up. I feel like SOS was supposed to bring some probes over to try to mine through this. Classic is very well defended for this, though. He's already got Archons. I'd love to see him drop a shield battery here just to help defend. But Classic's looking pretty buttoned up here. I don't know if SOS can break through. Now, the question is, can Classic take another base? And I feel like that answer might be no. If SOS literally just walks right here. He is up 20 army supply right now. Ooh, the Oracle getting some more damage here, focusing down a couple more probes. Anything is really good for SOS right now. He does not have a lot of advantages at his disposal. Oh, speaking of which, I just realized Classic is up at +2 attack already. That +1 just finishing for SOS. He is a full upgrade behind. And Classic's going to try to get in here with a couple of Zealots. It looks like that Pylon spotted this, though. SOS does a nice little warp in back at home. He's chrono boosting a Phoenix out. I think he lost all of his from earlier. SOS posturing here. Oh, man, he really missed an opportunity. I just don't think he was expecting this Nexus to go down. He could have just forced a cancel on it at any point. Now Classic is down there. I don't know if that's possible anymore. Recall goes down on the Prism to get it back home. Looks like Classic's not going to get too much damage done here. SOS is actually going to come back and defend. I would kind of love to see him bust these rocks down and take this base. I mean, at this point, he's so low on workers, but I feel like he needs to take that base. Classic has 4 up. He's at 57 probes, but he's building 4 at a time now. SOS has a great position out on the map, but if Classic just doesn't leave, Classic is in a better spot overall. His +3 attack is almost done. He has his charge on the way. It's a little bit late considering he already has like 20 Zealots, but SOS is just going for it. Oh, this is such an SOS move. Is it a good move? I don't think so. He's going to try to target down the shield battery. A stasis trap. Hold on. Catches a ton of Zealots and an Immortal. SOS suddenly fighting with so much more actual army right now, and he's pushing through. He's going to kill everything that's on the ground. There are 3 Immortals here doing a ton of damage for Classic, and he's about to have all the rest of his units back. There were 2 Archons in there as well, but SOS now has the army supply lead as this fight gets back underway. This Immortal is staying alive for a long time, and it looks like Classic is going to hold. Both players losing a lot of army supply, but Classic ending up 10 army supply ahead, and really it's these 2 Immortals holding strong. I cannot believe that stasis trap was maybe the most value stasis trap I've ever seen. So many Zealots, 2 Archons, and Immortal. Crazy, crazy value there for SOS, who by all rights should not have won that fight or come even close to winning that fight. But I still think Classic's got it here. He's going to hit. He's got like the same amount of Zealots and Archons, just those 2 extra Immortals, and he's still up that attack upgrade. And it looks like Classic's going to have enough to push through. The Oracle trying to help out. The Phoenix lifting up one of the Immortals, but the gateways have been depowered, and SOS is going to be forced to tap out. As Classic, holding that first blink attack with the 3rd Nexus, ends up in just a better position in that game, ahead on upgrades, and he played it perfectly. Classic just being defensive and holding on while SOS kind of bashed his head against the wall. SOS, a very impressive performance there, and I'm sad to see him go out so early in another KSL when the bracket is so stacked that we can't even get SOS into the round of 8. Unfortunate.